Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Horns Up. And this time we are doing this a little bit differently. Auntie Peter, you are all the way down under in Australia.
Yeah, man, it's kind of weird because it's cool here, closer to winter. The seasons are kind of inverted.
It's like 7 a.m. in the morning back here in Bombay, and I'm already sweating like a pig.
Yeah, and I'm sitting outdoors at 9:30 in the morning, and it's nice and cool. I'm not coming back, Animesh. I'm not coming back.
Which means then all our listeners will have to get used to you being on cellular phone kind of voice. Anyways, we kid. All right, so this week we're also doing things a little bit differently with the interview that we have for you guys, and that's because be warned, if you're a metal purist, you might not actually enjoy this show.
Well, old schoolers, we apologize. I know we had the Entombed episode last week, and if you enjoyed that, this is kind of the other end of the spectrum in the metal world, if you may. So we have as our guest Jermaine Hurley from the I would say hip hop influenced or metal act, as he puts it, Hacktivist. They're from the UK, and they made headlines a few years ago because they mixed the Djent with rap and hip hop, and that was something which a lot of people had not seen, especially since the death of, I don't know, was it really the death of new metal?
New metal, I guess, was probably like the Tamagotchi phase. It saw a huge surge in popularity. You had new metal bands coming in dime a dozen. It served as a gateway for a lot of people in the late 90s and the early 2000s to get introduced to metal as such. So, no matter what you say, I'm guessing new metal will always have that street cred, if you may.
Or even that nostalgia factor. I mean, it's not like I regularly listen to a Linkin Park or a Limp Bizkit album, but if on my playlist something or a shuffle it just kind of pops up, I'm not gonna skip it for sure.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, even if you go back a little bit in time, Rage Against the Machine, I still would think would classify as a metal band. Sure, it's not as heavy, but come on, man, those riffs, those solos, they were doing a lot of things that metal bands would, and the fact that they had a legit wordsmith with them in Zach De La Roca made it all that much better. Of course, new metal gets a lot of slack, so yeah, there's the other side of the coin completely because it's sort of the genre kind of symbolizes all the not negative, but I would say all the things that posers identify with the most.
I mean, think about it. The way I look at it, also, since we talked about it on our previous episodes, where you have groove metal also getting that, it's not cool to like Pantera or bands like that anymore. But
Yeah, yeah.
when I think about it, didn't wasn't that one of the reasons we got into metal because it wasn't cool? So where did it kind of matter what was in, what was cool, what was trendy or not? I When I look back, the reason I got into metal was not because it was trendy or cool. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was just a sound that we really enjoyed and we wanted more of. And that's something that Jermaine also talks about, right? I mean, how accepting metal as such was to him. He's a complete outsider. He's not the traditional metalhead that we've generally had on the show, right? Not grown up with the music as such, comes at it from a completely different world, and yet is having the time of his life in a band that fuses the metal sound with his grime and rap world.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I think we've kind of given an enough introduction because after all of this, people really need to just have an open mind and listen to the interview. And I think it was really refreshing to hear his take on just how it's been for them for the last 5 years.
Yeah, completely. So, with all that being said, let's dive straight in. Here is Jermaine Hurley from Hacktivist.
So it's great to have in our show on the latest episode of Horns Up. Here's Jay from Hacktivist. Welcome back, Jay, activist back on the scene.
Yeah, it's been pretty good being back actually. Yeah, it feels good. Everyone's appreciating the new song, and yeah, had an amazing response from the new song. So yeah, it's good to be back finally.
So, just kind of if you can run us through, how did music happen for you? Do you come from a musical family? Take us through your journey.
Yeah, my dad got me into music. He was always listening to a lot of reggae and Michael Jackson stuff. When I used to go to his flat on the weekends, we used to sing along to the songs. He used to give us a fake mic. Me and my brother used to jump around his flat singing Michael Jackson songs. So I think that's where my musical upbringing came from.
And were there any other musical idols you had?
Yeah, growing up, there's a lot of musical idols I had growing up. Obviously, like Eminem and some of the grime artists from the UK, like Wiley and Dizzy Rascals. Really heavily into those growing up.
Okay, the grime world itself is something that most metalheads, as such, aren't really exposed to. So, can you just help us understand what grime is?
Grime is kind of it's like an English version of hip hop. You know, like how hip hop came from the States. Grime basically came from the UK, and it's kind of slowed down drum and bass, warped sub-low beats with rapping over the top of it.
Okay, what really attracted you to that kind of sound? Was it the rap element in it, or was it just the beats and?
Yeah, it was the rap element of it, and the battling as well. There's a lot of battling, clashing going on in the grime scene, and that attracted me straight away. I just wanted to get involved with that straight away.
So, were you a part of rap battles?
Yeah, I've done a few rap battles, yeah, grime clashes and stuff, yeah, back in the UK.
At that time, also, since you were into Eminem, at that time, new metal or like metal was also having a kind of resurgence back then. So, was there any like rock or metal artists that you listened to?
Limp Bizkit. Yeah, as soon as I discovered Limp Bizkit, I loved Limp Bizkit straight away. And then through listening to Limp Bizkit, I got into Korn and Linkin Park a little bit as well.
So it was still more of the rapping bits that were attracting you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
Did rock or metal attract you at all? Like having heard Limp Bizkit and Korn and stuff, were you paying attention to the music part of it, or was it still the verse and the rap and the flow that they were putting on with this new kind of beat and the rock beat as such to it?
I was more attracted to the lyrics and the slow hip hop beats, really. Yeah, the metal, the new metal that was coming out those days. I never really thought about rapping over metal. To be honest with you, I didn't really think about it. I just wanted to be like hip hop and grime. So obviously, I liked Limp Bizkit, but I never thought that I'd be like rapping in a metal band. It didn't really come across to me at all.
But so, doing my research, and I came across that the whole idea for the Hacktivist sparked when you were recording with your former guitarist Timothy James, and you heard the initial riffs of the tracks that he had there. So, just take us back to that time. What were the first thoughts that you had when you heard those riffs? How did the whole thing come about?
I never really thought about it, but with the grime, is the tempo is usually 130 BPM, which was the same BPM as the metal songs that Timothy was making. It's the exact same tempo. So I'd already written a lyric that said that I liked grime and grunge, because at that time I started getting into metal. So I'd already had a lyric that started I like grime and grunge, and then yeah, he just played the beat and I did that lyric. It's a grime lyric. I just did it over a metal beat and it worked perfectly. We didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to speed up or slow down or try and fit. It just worked over the beat. So yeah, I've recorded it, and as soon as we listened to it back, I thought, wow, that's amazing. Let's do it. Yeah, and
And
then
which song was this that you guys put together? Was it Hacktivist, your self-titled single?
yeah, self-titled single, Hacktivist. Yeah.
What was it about the riffs that kind of? I know you said he recorded it at 130 BPM, but was there something different that you heard compared to any of the new metal stuff? Like I know there was the Djent movement happening that time, and
I didn't really know about the Djent scene at that time. Or
okay,
I just looked at it as metal.
right,
Um, I just looked at it as metal, and I liked because say like about 2 months, 3 months before this happened in the studio, I was chilling with Ben and Tim, and I started getting into what they were listening to, and anything that gets played and I can bop my head to, like if I can bop my head to it and I feel it, then I can rap over it. So yeah, I didn't really think too much about the Djent or what I was going to do. I just kind of just did it.
Was there anything particular about the riffs that resonated with the musician in you?
I loved the sound of the guitar. I just love the sound of the guitar because it just pulls. It kind of pulls at your heartstrings and gets your emotions going. And it was all different to me because it's like a whole new level of things. Because before, I'd just be doing like a grime beat, and that would have like I don't know all the parts in it. But yeah, the metal to me with the drums as well. I just found the drums amazing because I was actually a part of it. I was inside. I can't really explain it, but when you get a beat, most of the grime beats and stuff are all just made on computer with different
Mm-hmm.
sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But in a studio, like I don't know, the sounds of the guitars, they just do something to your the sounds of the guitars just doing something to my emotions and to my feelings. It just felt right to express a lot over those guitars and drums. And then I started seeing it as like all five of us moving in sync at the same time was kind of crazy, rather than me just doing it on my own as a grime hip hop artist.
All right. So, to talk a little bit more about the formation of the Hacktivist and the band itself, first question, why choose to call yourselves Hacktivist? Because that's a huge statement that you guys made with just the name.
It kind of started as we're kind of like a political band. We don't just want to we want to speak about wars and stuff and not just the birds and the bees basically. And we kind of give ourselves that name because at first we hacked into the music. We hacked into the music industry, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's why we kind of gave ourselves that name because we're hacking in.
that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, and we ended up hacking in to the music game more than we expected. We thought we'd just call ourselves Hacktivists, hacking in, but yeah, we ended up getting more views and more shows and more everything.
We'll definitely be addressing your meteoric rise to success a bit later. I want to understand though, what was the collective energy in that room like? I mean, you yourself said that 5 people came together and you guys locked in, and there was some magic. Can you describe that magic for us? Why did you guys think that Hacktivist needed to exist?
Um, because I was just hip hop and grime, and I started listening to the screaming, like the screaming of other vocalists, because they was in Heart of a Coward at the time.
Yeah.
When I started chilling with them, so I started listening and getting into the screams. Yeah, that's when we knew it was magic. It was what made us kind of do it was just we kept talking about it. Like me and Ben kept talking about it. I said, "Well, like you scream on a grime song." I wanted to get Ben screaming on one of my grime songs because I thought that would be sick. No one's done that before, and it's pain. You can hear it. Like so, yeah, we did that. He screamed on one of my grime songs, and then he was like, "Right, yeah, next I'm gonna rap on one of your metal songs." Do you know what I mean? So we just did it because people from the grime scene and the metal scene don't really chill together that much in Milton Keynes, where we're from. But I've always been really open with my grime and hip hop and metal. Like I've always been into skateboarding and BMXing. So what made us do it was just me and no, I'm a local rapper. Ben was a local screamer, and it was like we were like good mates. So it was like let's bring our stuff together in the studio and it just seemed to work. That was it.
All right. This is for things beyond the music, of course. Does rap and metal behave differently in any fashion?
Does it behave differently?
Okay, not just rap, but grime, rap, and metal. Do these worlds behave differently, or are there similar things in it as well?
Yeah, they are pretty different. To be fair,
What's the difference?
the difference, the metal scene's a lot more nicer. I think I enjoy the metal scene more than the grime and hip hop scene. Um,
Oh,
the grime and hip hop scene is very competitive, very very competitive. A lot of people want to show off their money and how much money they've got and stuff in the hip hop and grime scene. And if you don't, you get people look at you and turn their noses up, if you know what I mean. So yeah, like when I was at a hip hop or grime rave before, it was more about battling and being the best MC. But when I've come to the metal scene, it's more love. Everybody just likes each other and everyone just wants to chill with each other. And yeah, I think I definitely prefer the metal scene than the hip hop and grime scene. But yeah, it's two different worlds. It is two different worlds.
okay, so definitely with Hacktivist, you're hacking the entire scene. You're bringing two worlds together. Does that mean that at a Hacktivist gig, you have both audiences coming together?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that, which has been really good. We've seen a lot of people that don't usually listen to metal, but they'll come to a Hacktivist show, and the opposite as well. You know, a lot of people that don't really listen to rap will come to a Hacktivist show. So yeah, we are starting to see a mix, starting to see a good mix in the crowds. Yeah.
All right. So the first time I heard of Hacktivist actually was an article on the website Metal Sucks, which kind of tagged you as rap meets Djent, and is it the return of new metal? There was a polarizing response to the single that you put out. I think it was Hacktivist. So I have two questions on that. One was the new metal. There's a certain stigma attached to that word looking back now, and it's mocked. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
I disagree in different names for metal for different times,
Right.
like new metal, old metal. For me, it's just music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean hip hop, grime, dubstep, drum and bass. It's all just one music. I think there's too many different names for too much different stuff. Like, yeah, to me, I don't really see it as djent or new metal or anything. I just see it as metal.
Did that new metal categorization, did it affect the band at all? Because certainly both grime, rap, as well as metal purists don't really quite like meshing two different worlds together,
Yeah,
which is shit. But I mean, you guys must have faced a lot of that too.
yeah. I think the new putting the new metal word in it was good for us. I think it had. I don't think it's done us any. I think it's only done us favors because everyone wants to hear what's new, don't they?
So, you mentioned earlier and you talked about your meteoric rise to success, and you guys were rocket strapped, if you could say so. And you guys were clearly delivering on those expectations and how. So, how did you guys in person uh, and as a band deal with those things? They were really changing fast for you guys.
Well, for me, it was all right. Yeah, it was quite fun. It was pretty crazy. Just I think there was about a year um, where I only stayed at my house about 3 times. I was just continuously touring for a whole year, just playing every festival. Um, but yeah, it was crazy. Obviously, watching all the views go up really fast. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was a dream come true. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Every aspect of it.
What about the band? How did they deal with how fast things were happening? Were you guys expecting it?
I don't think we was expecting it, but I'll tell you one thing that made us stronger was going on a big tour. We went on a month-long tour with Enter Shikari,
Okay.
and it was like 30 shows in 36 days or something. So we only had like
That's a grueling schedule, man.
yeah, and that was like when we first started. So but that molded us and made us into a strong band. That we learned from Enter Shikari on that tour how to be a band. You know, that turned us into a professional band. That tour did. So yeah, I suppose that was good. That was good. And then obviously we played a lot of festivals, a lot of big festivals on big stages. And I think that was all good. I think that was all good for us because you know when you get thrown in at the deep end, sometimes that's the best way to learn. So yeah, we learned a lot.
And it's thanks to all that touring that I got to hear about Hacktivist for the first time because you guys came down to Bombay and played Big 69.
That's probably one of the best memories in my life, man. That's up there, like in my top five shows ever. Memories from that festival. It's just awesome. I think the stage we played on was a Red Bull bus.
Yeah, it was a bus. You guys played on a bus.
Well, it was really I've never done that before, so that was crazy. There was lots and lots of people there, and yeah, we watched Sixth as well. They played on a big, massive stage, and they had like flames at the side of the stage. Yeah, I just remember drinking some nice rum. I think it's called Monkey.
Old Monk.
Old Monk. Yeah, some mad rum. It was really nice. Yeah, and that was one of the best times. It was one of the best times of my life going over to Mumbai, India. It was really, really, really good trip, man. Really good trip because we got looked after. You know, you looked after us when we come over there, so got treated nicely. So it was nice.
Was the Indian crowd or experience any different from other countries and cities you've played in?
They're a good crowd. They're a really, really good crowd. I think it was really, really hot. I don't know how. I suppose you guys are a bit more used to the heat out there.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The crowd are really nice. The crowd are really nice. Yeah, they're just really warming, you know, and they're happy to see you. They're all happy that you've come that far out to see them. So.
All right, cool. So that's all, of course, in the past. Let's talk about the present a bit. There was a little bit of a downtime in the middle for the band, but now, of course, you guys are back. Why is this the right time for Hacktivist to step back into the spotlight?
Now's the time because, basically, we had to reprogram everything, and it takes a lot of time, you know.
Wow, pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now we're a fully functioning, strong team again. So so now's the perfect time to just come back and start releasing music. Yeah, I mean, we didn't choose for things to take this long since other members left to get going again. Obviously, things take a little bit more longer sometimes when if you're signed by a label and stuff. You've got to go through some legal bits and bobs. But yeah, I mean, the time feels right now. We've got a lot of new music to release, so we're just going to keep releasing new music now and working on new stuff while we're doing that.
Touched upon the members joining in. How did Joe Maxey and you had become part of your lineup?
Well, as soon as Ben left, we already knew because I don't know if you've heard the Outside the Box album. There's a grime song on there, and it's got Joe Maxey on it. So yeah, we already knew him anyway. We already rolled through with him. He's already a good friend, and we already spoke to him about getting involved. So yeah, as soon as Ben left, Jot was our first. We knew straight away, let's get Jot in, man, because he's sick and he'll smash it. So yeah, that's what we did.
The track that you're talking about was Rotten, right?
Yeah. Rotten, yeah, the original Rotten. It's like a grime song. Yeah, that's it.
And what about James? How did James become part of the lineup?
Yes, same with him really. Josh and Rich were already good, close friends with James anyway. And when Timothy left, we had about 9 or 10 people that we were thinking about joining, and they were sending us demos. And as soon as I heard James's demos, I knew straight away that it was going to be James, because I loved his style, I loved his guitar style, I loved all of his tones, and plus he sent like 5 tracks in a week, and you know everybody else was kind of sending 1 or 2. So yeah, we had a little meeting with him, and then we knew straight away. Well, as soon as James sent his demos in, I started writing to him because I knew straight away. So yeah, that was it.
Let's talk a little bit about Reprogram. That's the new single. What was the writing and recording process like, especially with the band dynamics changing up a little bit here?
Yeah, it was hard actually. It was because that's the first song we all wrote together, so it was a bit of a challenge really. That one, it wasn't very easy, but the way we did it was, James was making most of the guitar bits, and then Rich was coming in with the drums. So Josh, Rich, and James were all working together on the instrumental, and then they'll send an update to me and Jot. And then me and Jot were writing a load of lyrics to it. And then once we got a structure of the song ready, like we want this bit here, this bit there, like the 8 there, and then the 9 there. So me and Jot recorded demos at our houses of where we wanted the lyrics to be and where we wanted the parts to be. And then we all sent that round to all 5 of us, probably for about a month, changing it. Everyone kept changing bits. No, put that bit there. Put that bit there. No, I change that bit for there. Oh, I don't like that bit. Oh, I change that bit. That went on for about a month. And then when we finally got to the structure that we was all happy with, we were like, yes. So we ring up a guy called Justin Paul, who's a really good engineer, and we went and recorded it all again with Justin Paul, and then got the masters, got it mixed by Buster at Impact Studios, and then it was ready. But yeah, it was a hard one to write, that one, because it was the first one with the new lineup. So yeah.
You mentioned all of you working individually on this. Have you guys come into one room and written things as a band together yet? Yeah,
we have. Yeah. Just 2 days ago, we was all at my flat writing together. Josh, Rich, and James, they always sit together and write the instrumentals. But Jot lives in France at the moment, so what me and Jot are doing is writing stuff and sending it to each other. Do you know what I mean? In about a month's time, we're all booking a week off work to all write together as well. I think Jot's flying over, and when Rich, our drummer, he's just moved into a new house with a big studio in his back garden. So I think we're going there in a couple of weeks' time just to finish more tracks and start new ones.
Just to touch a bit upon the lyrics, it seems like a reaction to the current social, political, and economics climate. Is it? Are we correct in our assessment?
Yeah, correct, man. Yeah.
Just tell us a bit about what kind of inspired it, or what kind of...
It's kind of like everyone's on their computers, on their phones, or on a screen too much, and everyone's kind of forgetting about the world, because everyone's just locked in to social media and news, and just locked into their screens. Basically, everybody's always on their phones and stuff, and they're forgetting how much we're actually destroying the planet because we're just
All right, so armed with all that context, let's give our listeners a taste of Reprogram. Here it is, the new single from Hacktivist. It's called Reprogram.
When computers go down, remember this land is borrowed. Choppers in the sky bring pain and sorrow. Pollution leaves a bitter taste that's hard for us to swallow. We're hoping for a better day, but will we see tomorrow? When computers go down, believe that this land is borrowed. Bombers in the sky bring pain and sorrow. Corruption leaves a bitter taste that's hard for us to swallow. I'm hoping for a better day, but will we see tomorrow? You'll forget the words, the check my Insta, ooh. Better check my Twitter too. Haven't selfied in days. People must think I am melting away. Life online is the best. Everyone can find my flex. I cannot wait for what's next. Yeah, just plug me into the net. When computers go down, pull your head from out of the cloud. A virus infiltrates your tower. You can't surf, there's a drought. We're draining Mother Earth's power. Heading from me to your showers. Minutes feel like hours. Whole forest landscapes devoured. You scream, freezes and shatters. Smoke and mirrors, leaders and cowards. For the DC, sweet leaf flowers. Another disaster will happen. In the meantime, there's too much distraction. We stand firm, we won't move a fraction. Got hard drives, don't need expansion. When computers go down, then it's time for action. I will not bow down. We will never bow down. We will never bow down. I will not bow down. We will never bow down. We will never bow down. When satellites fall from the sky, we'll realize that time stops for no man. Now is the time, open up your third eye. Let's get every line, my block and programmed. I will not bow down to no man. My mind is my serene program. When computers go down, remember this land is borrowed. Choppers in the sky bring pain and sorrow. Pollution leaves a bitter taste that's hard for us to swallow. We're hoping for a better day, but will we see tomorrow? When computers go down, believe that this land is borrowed. Bombers in the sky bring pain and sorrow. Corruption leaves a bitter taste that's hard for us to swallow. I'm hoping for a better day, but will we see tomorrow?
So that was Reprogrammed, the latest single from Hacktivist. What was the reaction you were looking at or aiming for, Jay? And do you think you delivered on that count?
Definitely delivered, yeah. I don't really ever look for too much reaction, but we definitely got our point across in that song. We got an amazing amount of views in the first week. We had to make sure that song was going to be quite big because obviously with the new guitarist and, well, Jot's not so new, but new guitarist, we had to pick from about 4 or 5 songs to release. And James said, yeah, I think the strongest song to make a comeback with would be Reprogrammed. So we did, and I think we're all really, really happy with how the response has been. Everyone's loving the guitar sound and the rapping, so yeah.
I do want to ask you, does the fact that you guys have a strong message in your songs and this music is just the vehicle to deliver it, is that the band's purpose, and does that continue to be the band's purpose?
Yeah, I think we're always going to be pushing the boundaries a bit with songs, and yeah, we're always going to be wanting to rustle feathers in our songs, definitely. 100%. I'm just looking at the songs on my wall that we're going to be releasing coming up, and they're all pretty controversial, I think. Yeah, I think that's what we like to write about. I mean, we like to write about big issues, man. Not just the birds and the bees or the bitches and the guns and the drugs, man. I want to hit people hard with songs, because we've got a little platform now to stand on. We might as well try and wake the world up, we might as well say some decent stuff with this platform that we've got. We might as well try and change a little tiny bit.
What kind of lyrical content are you guys touching upon? Will we hear anything about, say, Julian Assange's arrest, or maybe even Brexit for that matter?
Yeah, there might be a couple of things about Brexit. I can't really say too much at the moment, but yeah, there's a lot of songs finished at the moment that are coming soon. So yeah, we just have to wait. But they're not going to be. They're definitely going to. They're definitely going to hit the nerves. All of our songs, and I really hope Reprogrammed hit the nerves as well.
You're performing at the Submit Festival in a couple of months.
Yeah.
More shows planned, and possibly expect you in India soon again.
I think after the show in Netherlands, Submit Fest. After that, I think May. We've got a show in August in Russia. We're playing a show in Russia on the beach. Taman Fest, I think it's called. So that should be pretty good. I'm not too sure if I can say anything about what we've got after that, but we definitely want to be coming back to India, 100%. But what we want to have is a load more new songs. You know,
Right.
we want to get consistent. We want to get our name back out there. So and give you guys an album date as well.
Ooh, lovely. That was good. That was just going to be the next question, because you mentioned you're writing a bunch of new songs. So, of course, when can we expect to hear a new EP or a new album? Any indicative timeline?
All I can say is soon. Yeah, because I'm not allowed to say. I'll probably get in trouble if I say anything. Probably this year you'll have an album, maybe, or at least a date. But yeah, you'll be getting a few cheeky singles here and there as well, so you'll be happy.
Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much for your time, Jay. Hopefully you can hack our systems again.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. It's good to hear from you.
Thank you. Horns up.
Horns up, man.
Yeah. Horns up.
Cool. So that was a short and snappy conversation with Jermaine.
I actually was reading up on his Twitter while checking it out, and he seemed to be a little under the weather. So, yeah, I'm glad at least he managed to make through that interview with us.
Yeah, completely. But full props to Hacktivist for what they're doing. It'll be really exciting to see what comes out from that camp in the weeks to come. I know they're doing a lot of tours, and on that really bad segue, let me talk a little bit about Wacken Open Air for 2019.
Let me put this into some context over here, because I realized through our Twitter exchanges, we've sometimes discussed this. First, let's set up Wacken. For most people, Wacken is like the Mecca. It is the everything to do with metal. Whether 100,000 sweaty metalheads in denim and leather is your thing or not, but there's a certain stamp that comes through playing on a stage like Wacken Open Air. There's no denying that.
Completely, man. It is the largest metal festival on earth at the moment. They have a lot of acts. This year's headliners are bands like Sabaton and Slayer.
Yeah.
And representing India from this time around is Bloodywood.
So let me put this in a way for you, Animesh, because the moment I kind of saw that announcement that Bloodywood had been announced as one of the acts for Wacken Open Air, it was a bit of a head scratcher for me, because as far as I'm aware, Bloodywood has never performed live, and till date, all they're known for is doing covers on YouTube of popular Bollywood songs or popular music, basically. Like, I've seen the covers they've done of Backstreet Boys and the like. So if you're into that, you can go look it up. But here's my thing. As somebody who's been a musician for over a decade, performed at gigs ranging from pokey dives, bars to, big stages like N87 and stuff like that. What goes through your head when you read news like that?
Okay, I completely get the first reaction, which a lot of people have, or a lot of people will have, is Bloodywood doesn't deserve to be on that stage because they are not a traditional band in that sense. I mean, they don't have a string of shows. We don't know what the selection process is. They didn't come through the Wacken Open Air battles that we see or we have come to seeing. So yeah, on that level, of course, the case can be made that they don't deserve it. But here is a slightly different take. Metal as we know it, or music consumption as we know it, is changing. This stems from a discussion that I've been having over the last few years with a lot of people within the community, especially at gigs, because nowadays gig turnout is at an abysmally low level. right? Even if you have a stacked lineup, you'll probably see the bands and their friends, and that's about it. All the new music discovery, which we used to use gigs for, is being done online and on YouTube. And I'm sorry to say, but in this day and age, YouTube likes, Facebook likes, social media likes, all of those things do matter. In which case, Bloodywood is really not that much of a surprise. They do one kind of sound at the moment, and they're pretty okay at it. I mean, it doesn't. Sure, it is cringeworthy, but that's because we may be metal purists. But I don't think we're metal purists. But you get that, right? We're more of the old school fans. So I don't think it's anything path breaking, their music, because we've heard Sahil Makhija do this, right? Way long back. We've heard Cranium do this on Deep Throat with Parya Parya. So is it a new concept? No. But the fact that they've been doing this over and over again over the last, I don't know how many ever years they're doing this, but they're getting recognition, they're getting popular, and this is a huge feather in the cap for them. Now, having said all of that, I think this Wacken gig is going to be the next game changer of sorts, or it has that kind of opportunity for something like a Bloodywood, because if they manage to pull off a really good stage show, and they seem like decent musicians, so I definitely think they have that ability in them, we may just see them becoming the Nickelback of metal in India. And what I mean by that is, I think there will be some opportunity in Bloodywood going a little bit mainstream, and hence maybe becoming a gateway band for more people to get into metal.
Yeah, and actually, you know, that was my same reaction initially. And, you know, I haven't personally seen it, but I see a lot of like people talking about, oh, you don't need to crib. So I'm assuming it's fellow musicians that are a little butthurt. Sorry, you are butthurt. And if you disagree with me, you know how to reach me about someone else getting the stage at Wacken. I mean, first of all, congratulations, because, you know, while I may not be the biggest fan of Bloodywood, you have to admit that they do their marketing pretty smart. They do it pretty well. Uh, they've got fans all over the world. So definitely whoever is on the Wacken team, kind of selecting team, has got their pulse on what's going on, not just on ground, but also online. Uh, and yeah, man, I mean, just to use a parallel example, look at a non-metal artist like Nuclear. He packs in like easily 10,000 plus people in his show. And I think for an independent music artist, that's tremendous, considering we started off the discussion about how there are no attendance for gigs. So if it's going to take Bloodywood to get in 1,000 people at a gig, and from there they then discover, you know, that there are heavier acts and stuff like that, like I mean, who's gonna say no to that? I mean, let Bloodywood be the Linkin Park of India.
Yeah, no, completely agreed with you. I mean, I've seen this live. There's this band from Kolkata called Underground Authority that peaked, I think, a couple of years back because they managed to get onto India's Got Talent or some other TV show. And because of that, or because of that exposure, people were flocking to Underground Authority gigs. And yes, it was, the music was absolutely a Linkin Park ripoff. But I'm pretty sure if even 5% of that gig crowd liked what they heard, they may have gone back home and Googled rap metal and hence gone on to discover what metal is. And that's good for metal itself. I mean, yes, between ourselves, we continuously talk about how metal needs to keep evolving. And I completely get where purists come from. But yeah, the classics will remain the classics even 40 years down the line. People will still need a reason to discover it. It'll be awesome if, unlike the traditional means of somebody giving you music to listen to and saying check it out, you have other bands or the internet come to your rescue and saying check it out.
No, and I agree. I mean that's the reason why people still listen to Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. It's not like they've been changing their music or doing anything different, right?
Peter, what the fuck is going on in the background?
1 second, hold on. I think, oh, okay, someone is doing vacuuming. Hold on, 1 minute. Just wait. Okay, okay. Is that better now?
Yeah, completely. So before being sucked up into the vacuum, um, sorry for that. But okay, no, hear me out. Hear me out. I do want to make one final point on this. So years ago, there was a period of time when Demonic Resurrection played Wacken and represented India at the Wacken Metal Festival. At that point in time, Demonic Resurrection, which is perhaps India's most well-known metal act, right? They got shit upon by the metal community of India or the metal scene as such. That's something that was again absolutely uncalled for. I do think what you said was absolutely right. A lot of people are butthurt, and it doesn't help that Bloodywood doesn't have the credibility as such on the scene that that Demonic Resurrection has as such. But here is a chance for them to actually hit it out of the park. Parikrama managed to do this by taking that opportunity of somehow playing for Iron Maiden or opening for Iron Maiden in India and going on a European tour with all new material. It took Iron Maiden getting them a gig for Parikrama to write new songs. But they did it, and now they're a better band for it. Hopefully, with this move, Bloodywood become a much better band and can fulfill the criteria of, or at least hit the check marks of what being a metal band is all about for people who have a fixed idea of what a metal band is.
No, fair enough, and I agree, man. I mean, let's hope before the end of the year we're looking back at this conversation and saying, "Hey, Bloodywood guys, I'm glad you all listened to us and released a new album or released an or original album."
Completely. Actually, tell you what, I would, if Bloodywood, if you guys are listening to this, we'd love to just chat you up, man. We don't know anything about you. Let's actually just chat.
Yeah.
So Bloodywood, if you're listening out there, and for anybody else who wants to basically talk to us about this issue, you know where to reach us. We are on Twitter at HonsapPod. Peter, you're at
Trend Crusher.
And I'm at Asmo Ani. Write into us. Tell us what you feel. Okay, don't tell us what you feel. Tell us what you think and what side of the fence you're on in this entire Bloodywood India Wacken issue. Yeah, how's that?
Deal.
So I'm going to leave you right now so that you can get punched by a few kangaroos.
No, I'm actually going on a family lunch after this, so yeah.
Okay, so eat a few kangaroos. Are you allowed to do that?
You can.
Have you tried it yet?
No, dude. Apparently it's damn, tough meat. Yeah, gamey. Alright then. I'm damn excited about Paul Masvidal.
Oops, you weren't supposed to say that, Peter.
Oh, wait, are we recording this?
Yeah, we're still recording this. It's a badly done sneak preview, but a sneak preview nonetheless. Horns up.
Horns up.